Countdown to Halloween 2023, featuring eerie and uncanny tales of haunts, ghosts, and suspense. October is finally here. Join us all month for special Halloween presentations on Storylink Radio's YouTube channel as we count down to Halloween 2023. Keep a close eye on YouTube alerts or you'll miss one. Celebrate October with us right here and now. Tonight's presentation from Storylink Radio. The PACT. The old woman rocked back and forth in her chair. Her eyes were not on the three little girls sitting at her feet, but rather her eyes were on the dirt road that led toward the swamp. It devours the snakes and the hates the gators. Oh, the old woman was saying with her distinctive Cajun accent. And if you're brave enough and stay and listen, you can hear its victims' bones a snapping like the dried sticks, the old woman continued on. But Lakota, Lakota prefers a meal of taste of human flesh. Shar turned to look toward the tops of the giant cypress trees that soared upward from the Louisiana bottomland. She knew that there were plenty of deer, wild turkeys, even a black bear or two out there. But according to legend, it was also the home of the gruesome man lizard, Lakota, that her grandmother was talking about. Make the noise it makes again, Gran, she begged. Char's grandmother pursed her lips and made a strange hissing noise. Then followed up by clicking her tongue against the back of her teeth. Char and her friends Jennifer and Jamie each tried to imitate the sound, but they couldn't get it quite right. Me either. That is the sound of Lakota breathing in the dark between his dagger-like fangs, yes. It is the sound of his razor-edged scales snapping against one another as he slithers in search of the prey. If you was unlucky enough to hear that, the old woman warned, Lakota is already close enough to have picked up your scent. Few people have ever been able to escape when Lakota is that near. The girls cringed in fear and delight. Mama! Char's mother stood in the open screen door with a scowl on her face. Don't you be scaring these babies with your silly tales. She turned to Jennifer and Jamie and smiled. Come on, girls. I promise your folks I'll drive you back to the base in time for dinner. Now in bed that night, Jamie strained to hear the sound of the swamp through her open window. Her dad was a career military officer, so even though she was only 7 years old, she had already lived in several different places. But this one was her favorite. Jennifer and Char were her best friends ever. Jennifer's parents were also in the military, but Charlotte was the local. She was from a Cajun family. They lived on the bayou since the 18th century. A lot of people have a good friend named Charlotte. And this Charlotte knew a lot about the swamp, and she had shown Jennifer and Jamie some great stuff, like the best place to search for tadpoles and crayfish and how to spot a raccoon's nest. The girls called themselves the Three Musketeers. They even had a secret hiding place, a clearing about a half-mile into the swamp where they would eat picnic lunches. Jamie wished she could stay in Louisiana forever. That was why the news she heard the following Saturday morning, that they were moving again, was so disheartening. Oh, you make new friends, hon, her mother soothed. And you can write to Jennifer and Char. Besides, I'm sure you'll like California. Oh, I know, Mama, Jamie said sadly. It wasn't her parents' fault that they had to move. There have been many changes on the base recently. Her dad said it was being downsized, and a lot of people are being transferred. In fact, later that day, Jamie learned that Jennifer, too, would be leaving. Only Char would be left behind. The three girls sat sullenly in their secret meeting place, watching dragonflies buzz at the surface water of the water. You think we'll ever see each other again? Jennifer finally asked, with a sigh. Well, of course we will, Char said sharply. If you want something badly enough, like for Kim Starr to come to the story, then you can make it happen no matter what. No matter what. She looked from one girl to the other. But why don't we make sure? How can we make sure? Jamie questioned. Char waded out into the muddy water and snapped 3 sharp spines from the trunk of a water locust tree. Why, we'll make a pact, she announced solemnly. A blood pact. And with that, she poked the tip of one spine into her finger. A drop of bright red blood welled up. Exactly 5 years from today, we'll meet in this exact spot. No matter what. she continued, allowing the drop of blood to fall to the ground. As it seeped in, she handed Jamie and Jennifer each a spine. They each did as Shar had done. Then it's all settled, Shar said. Friends forever, yeah? Nothing will stop us from being together on that day. 5 years from now, right here. Friends forever, the others responded. And so, 5 years later, standing on the back porch of her new home and looking out at the tops of the giant cypress trees, Jamie remembered the day that she and her friends had made their sworn pact as if it had only been yesterday. It was as though fate had been working to help the three girls keep their promise. Her dad had not expected the transfer back to Louisiana. But here they were, and only 1 week before the appointed time. Jamie wondered if Jennifer and Shar would be there too. At first, the girls kept in touch with each other, writing regularly as they do. But after a while, though, the letters had become fewer and farther between. In fact, it had been almost a year since she had heard from either of her friends. Jamie? A voice said softly. Jamie turned to see Jennifer framed in the doorway. I can't believe you're really here, Jennifer cried, running to her friend. The girls laughed and hugged each other. My mom told me that your family had been transferred too, Jamie said. How long have you been here? Have you seen Shar? I've been here about a week, Jennifer answered. But Shar isn't here. I guess you didn't hear about the accident, huh? Accident? What accident? Well, it happened about a year ago, I guess. Shar's mom and grandmother were killed in a car accident. She was sent to live with a relative, a cousin, I think, in New York. Oh, I'm so sorry, Jamie said mournfully, remembering how kind Shar's family had been to her. Well, there's some good people in New York, I guess. Oh, I'll miss them. Do you think Shar is okay? Jennifer shrugged. It's been a long time, but maybe we should be able to come back to meet us, you think? Suddenly her face brightened. I have an idea. Mrs. Willis is still at the post office. She would know how to reach Shar. We could get an address where we could write to her and let her know we're back. We still have a week to go. Maybe she could get here. She said nothing would stop her. Remember? Fantastic, Jamie agreed. I have to go to the post office with my mom today. I can write the letter and mail it. Write a letter. I don't really know what that means, but must have something to do like old-fashioned email stuff or something. I'm not sure. Anyway, the time finally came to fulfill their pact. Jamie glanced at her watch and then back at the picnic basket she and Jennifer had prepared before making their way to the special clearing. There was a chill in the air and a light mist rose from the sun-warmed water. In the distance, a few bullfrogs were practicing their evening chorus. Finally, Jamie spoke. Look, we don't know if the letter even got there, Jen. I'm sure Shar would have been here if she could. She rose to her feet and put a hand on Jennifer's shoulder. But we shouldn't stay any longer. It'll be dusk soon. We haven't been out here in ages, you know. I don't think I could find my way back in the dark without Shar. Jennifer smiled. Yeah, and we wouldn't want to be stuck in this part of the swamp alone. Remember old Cody? And then tried to imitate the funny hissing and clicking noise that Gran had made so convincingly and still eluded the girls. Jamie noticed the shadows lengthening on the ground as the sun crept closer. You still can't do that very well. Me either, she said, laughing as she bent down to pick up a basket. And then a soft sound broke the surrounding hush. It made Jamie stop laughing. It actually made her shudder. Jamie straightened up and looked at her friend. Wow, I'm really impressed. That was much better. That was so real. But Jennifer was staring out over the swamp toward a shadowy grove of white oak and bald cypress trees. Lacy strands of Spanish moss hung from the branches and dangled into the water like cobwebs. That wasn't me, Jennifer said with a tremor in her voice. Oh, come on, Jamie began. But she stopped when she saw the look on her companion's face. Let's get back. Now. The girls walked in silence for a few hundred yards. Then the mist was getting strangely thick and warm. Then suddenly they go no further. A tall stand of vegetation that looked like feathery bamboo blocked their path. Canebrake, Jamie muttered to Jennifer. We must have made a wrong turn. I don't think we should try to work our way around it. In this mist, I can't tell how far it goes. Before they could take another step, The strange hissing noise echoed over the water once again, followed by a series of clicks. It was closer than it had ever been before. "It's Lakoti," Jennifer moaned in terror. "He's picked up our scent." "Oh, don't be ridiculous," Jamie encountered. She couldn't stop her hands from shaking, though. It's a gator. Lakoti, it's just... But she didn't finish. Everything was eerily quiet. Even the bullfrogs had stopped croaking now. Through the haze, she could barely make out a dark shadow rising from the swamp. And it wasn't the great pumpkin. The girls backed toward the canebrake as the form loomed closer, then seemed to disappear. The sound of something moving in the water broke the stillness, something very big. The air smelled foul, and Jamie found it impossible to breathe. Don't move at all," she whispered to Jennifer. "Maybe it will..." Both girls screamed in horror as a huge creature leapt at them in a surge of foaming swamp water. At least 10 feet tall, it leered down at them with gleaming yellow eyes. Clumps of slime hung from its long, sickle-shaped claws. "Run! Run!" Jamie shouted, pushing Jennifer ahead of her. Both girls sprinted in the direction from which they had come. Tripping over a protruding root, Jamie fell hard to the ground, and the beast was close behind her. Howling in anger, its huge mouth was lined with dripping fangs, and its long, forked tongue whipped around as it roared. It was almost on her. "Get up! Get up!" she heard Jennifer shriek. Then suddenly she felt someone tugging at her arm. Scrambling to her feet, Jamie charged after her friend. Crashing into the clearing, the girls searched their surroundings from side to side in despair. There's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to run," Jennifer cried. "This way!" someone yelled. The two girls snapped their attention to a small rise and saw Shar, motioning them on. "There's no time! Hurry!" Shar shouted. In panic, the three girls clambered up the side of the small hillock toward their friend and tumbled down the other side. The soggy ground shook beneath their feet as the bloodthirsty monster galloped after them. Their friend Shar darted toward a tall strand of swamp red maple. The trees grew closer together, and their gnarled roots and buttresses stuck out at all angles like knobby knees. "Lakoti's too big to follow us in here," Shar gasped. Up to their hips in dark, murky pool, the girls held their breaths and pressed themselves against the gray-green trunks. "Duck down as far as you can into the water," Shar instructed them. "That way Lakoti won't be able to pick up our scent." The girls did as they were ordered. Jamie felt her feet sinking in the muck. Something slick slithered along her leg as she fought the impulse to scream. All at once, the nightmarish beast sloshed into view. Tiny waves splashed against her face and stung her eyes, but Jamie could still see the creature swinging this way and that. It was so close she could smell the stench of its fetid breath. Then, to her surprise, the Lakoti bellowed in rage and headed deeper into the swamp. Shar made a silent sign to the others not to move. As the thrashing of the creature faded away, she motioned for her friends to follow her. Without a word, the three girls made their way out of the hellish swamp as quickly as their feet could carry them. Once back on the road toward the base, the shivering girls hugged each other in relief. How did you... when... Jamie and Jennifer just stammered together at Shar with their trembling lips. "I said nothing would stop me from being here," Shar smiled. "I couldn't let you two city kids fend for yourselves out in the swamps." Jennifer shook her head. "Well, I never really thought that Lakoti existed, you know? I still can't believe that this happened. We've got to tell somebody to warn them." Shar shook her head. "Nah, the people who live on the swamp know deep in their hearts the legends are true. The others, well, you will never convince them no matter what you say." They took Jennifer's and Jamie's hands in her own. "You are my very, very best friends," Shar continued. "The important thing is that you made it. No one else ever has to know what happened here." Jamie nodded. "You're right. This will be our secret. We can talk about it more tomorrow. Right now I'd like to go home and get out of these wet clothes." "Friends forever?" Shar asked. "Friends forever," Jamie and Jennifer answered. At home, Jamie slipped off her soggy shoes and snuck quietly in through the kitchen door. She was sure she would never be able to give her parents a believable explanation about why she was soaked to the bone, so tiptoeing through the front hall, she noticed a letter addressed to her on the hall table. It had Shar's return address in New York on it. Jamie picked up the envelope and padded to her room. She slipped out of her wet clothes into a bathrobe, then she pulled out the letter. I guess Charlotte wanted to let us know she was coming, she thought, tearing the letter open. Then Jamie read a line or two, then drew in her breath sharply. The envelope slipped to the floor. The letter was not from Charlotte, but from Charlotte's cousin. It was short and matter-of-fact. Jamie stared at the last lines. The accident occurred 3 months ago. It was such a terrible shock so soon after the similar deaths of her mother and grandmother. If it is any comfort, Charlotte was killed instantly and certainly did not suffer. If there's anything else... The letter continued on, but Jamie could no longer read through her tears. Charlotte had truly meant it when she had said nothing would stop her from being there on the appointed day. Not even the grave. Oh, yes, Charlotte, Jamie sobbed. Friends, forever.
You've just heard tonight's story from Storylink Radio's Countdown to Halloween 2023. Remember to come back for our next tale. Many more stories of all genres available to listen to and read along with now on our website at www.storylinkradio.com. Visit our YouTube channel at youtube.com/storylinkradio. And visit our podcast for easy mobile listening anywhere, anytime. Just search for Storylink Radio on your favorite podcast provider. Oh, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and click that alert bell for Storylink Radio.